All right, Cap, let's talk about your oracle cards here for a minute. So, for those of you who've seen pulling the oracle cards, you had service and destiny fall out before we eventually pulled guilt. And it pissed me off. And it pissed me off because those two are so opposing. Service talks about putting aside what you feel like you want in order to get just what you need by being of service to others. But if that's the case, it's led you to this place of guilt where you need to now say, I'm no longer enabling you. I need to take care of myself. You get up and deal with your own crap. Right? But then destiny, I think is like the light that's kind of shining in here. And I'll get to that with midnight. But that's saying that it's time for you to stand up for yourself now. You get to create your life the way that you choose. You are in control of your destiny. No one else is allowed to say, you have to do this for me. That's no more. So as far as the light that's coming in here, when you look at midnight, the most magical hour of all, it is about coming out of your darkest hour. My brother used to say to me, it's only 60 minutes before the lights come back on. But when you're in those moments, it seems like forever. So I look at that and I think that a lot of you have been in this place for a while where you felt like you were obligated to care for another person. But they are taking advantage of you and you're seeing that now. I tried to help you, but now it's getting to be ridiculous. I can't do this anymore. So beyond coming out of your darkest hour with guilt, it says, do not do for others what they need to do for themselves. Speak truth from your heart. Honesty is freedom. Any guilt is fear of being disliked. And that's basically saying that if you fear saying to somebody, look, I can't help you anymore, it's because you don't want them to be pissed at you, right? But I think that for a lot of you, that doesn't even matter at this point. Especially if you've been putting your life on hold to care for somebody else. And it says, self-care, burdened by obligations, enabling others, finding personal power. And the very first quote for this says, I am sorry, but I have to take care of myself. And that's what this is all coming down to. All right, Cap, here we go. Here is your overall. The Three of Coins or the Three of Pentacles. All right. Now, for some of you, yeah, we can absolutely be talking about a work situation here. Or we could be talking about how are we going to make a situation work. Now, with the Three of Pentacles, I look at this as somebody who's getting to show off their abilities. And there's definitely the attention and recognition coming through based on your skills and what you can do. But it's also about the group. People working together toward a common goal, which brings me to the feeling of, can we make this situation work? Can we work together? But we'll see. Okay, so in the past, the Queen of Wands. And I look at that as, you. I mean, even if you're dealing with another person here, right? Male, female, fire sign, doesn't matter to me. But the Queen of Wands is the past, would show that for a lot of you, there's that passion, that fire and drive and determination to get what you want. There's that confidence there, and enthusiasm and excitement. So now it's, can we continue to work together to make a situation work, right? Oh boy, look at it. I'm telling you. So yeah, I would say that for some of you, possibly fire sign, right? But I look at that though, and I think for me that could be anywhere in somebody's chart. Aries, Leo, Sag, beyond Sun, Moon, and Rising. It just depends. It's personality. So you come in feeling confident, and it is going to have to do with a person, and a person that you are working with, and a person that you may be in a relationship with. Are they working with you? Are you able to work things out, make a situation work, right? But we'll see how the King of Wands is playing out here. Cap. The The Seven of Swords in future conditions. The thing is I think that you already know about any kind of like deception that may be involved with somebody, you know, that, like I said, you're either working with, working on a project with, or have been in a relationship with. The Seven of Swords is sneaky, sketchy, low down, you know, doing things on the down low. We're talking about people that are not being clear about what their intentions are or what their actions are. Now, for some of you, this could be about, you know, maybe this situation isn't working and maybe I just need to take what I can and get the fuck out, you know. But I question it because of the King of Wands being there. Again, whether you're dealing with male or female, it makes me question immediately what this person is doing. You know, what is it that they're not being clear about? You know, and I say that not just because of the Oracle cards, but it's the Seven of Swords, you know, and you're looking at it in future conditions. So what else is going on? You know, but like I said, for some of you, maybe it's, I just need to go. Okay, your best path to follow, the Two of Coins. You know, and it's not always a bad thing. I think that we generally look at the Two of Pentacles as a difficult thing because it's like, you know, you're constantly in that act of trying to keep a situation going, trying to keep things in balance. You know, one of the best Two of Pentacles I think I've ever seen would have to be from Spellcasters. I'm pretty sure that was the deck. The Two of Pentacles in that one, you see a dog walking up with like a brown paper bag in his mouth, like, all right, come on, dude, let's just put it down for a minute and let's have some lunch. Let's take a break, right? So it makes you think that you've been doing this, you know, constantly. We have to think about, what is it that you're trying to keep in balance here? What is it that you're trying to figure out? Are you being too flexible? Or do you need to be more flexible? I would say no, given the fact that we're looking at the Seven of Swords and fucking future conditions on this. So I look at this and I think you need to take a really close look at what it is that you're trying to manage here. Because you shouldn't be the one having to figure everything out here if we're looking at the Three of Pentacles as the overall. You know, because, right, like team effort here. Come on now. You know, you can't be the only one doing this. Wow. In your environment, the fucking Knight of Wands with the King of Wands, go figure. To me, because I'm looking at it this way and I'm going back to this, and I think that, you know, with the person that you're dealing with, I do think that, you know, there is a lot of passion there. I don't doubt that. I think that this person has an amazing ability to bring that out in you. And I think that that's where you get kind of caught up. But I also think that we're talking about a person that is constantly in and out. They're not even clear with what their intentions are. They don't even know what the hell they're doing. They just do it. You know, because when you're looking at the Knight of Wands, it's not about thinking about the consequences of the actions. It's just doing, acting with passion. And for you, getting wrapped up in it. And that would explain why you're coming in this way. Is somebody coming back? Is somebody coming back through? But are you enabling them? Because I look at this and think this isn't working together. This is about, you know, you juggling everything and needing to look at that. Especially if we're trying to make a situation work. But how can you do that if somebody's constantly in and out and getting you all stirred up and then backing out and doing some sneaky, sketchy shit? You know, and I don't like to create drama that's not there. I'm just being honest here on how I'm seeing this. Oh, Cap. You know, and again, right? These are general messages, but I always believe that when these ones show up, it's because somebody needs to hear this. Especially given the Oracle cards. It's time to come out of the dark now. You know, and it's time to stop doing for someone else who won't do the same for you. The Ten of Wands being hopes and fears. This is you taking on all of the responsibility, doing all of the work, going out of your way to make it work. But they're not willing to do the same thing. You know, and again, whether we're talking about a relationship or just a work partnership or, you know, whatever it is that you're working on together, it's all you. It's all you. And they're not doing their part. But they get you wrapped up and they get you fired up and they get you going. But that Ten of Wands is no good. You know, because like I always say with that one, there's a fucking destination with that. Where is that destination for you? If you keep saying, well, when this happens, or, you know, when I get here, or when this situation fixes itself, that's always in the future and it will forever be in the future. You know, you shouldn't be weighed down in taking on the responsibility of everything here. And I don't believe that it is your responsibility to make this work. I think that that's on them. Ooh, and then the Nine of Swords. And here's the thing, right? When we look at the Seven of Swords, more times than not, you're talking about situations where people, you know, the truth eventually comes out. They get caught. You know, their actions are seen. They can't keep it hidden forever. So it makes me think that looking at the Nine of Swords coming out in this, that you knew about some other stuff that may have been going on, but there's something else though. And I worry that you're dealing with a situation that you want to have work, but they're not willing to do the work. They're not willing to do their part to make the situation work. They're throwing all the responsibility on you, but at the same time, it's like they're taking advantage of your giving nature, being that you are the Empress coming out, connected to the Seven of Swords. Now, Temperance. You, I believe, have tried to keep yourself in balance and not get too carried away. I think that, you know, given what may have happened in the past, I think that some of you, you know, have gotten to a place where you've had to become a little bit more confident in yourself and have had to, you know, manage your life and what's going on. I do believe that this is going to be about a situation with a person that you have history with. And I do think that they're trying to get you stirred back up. And this is what I'm talking about with the Page of Cups. Because there's a part of you that's like trying to hold back, looking at Temperance, needing to get your equilibrium back, needing to get that balance, not doing anything based on an immediate passionate or emotional reaction. But then you have the Page of Cups. This is the communication of emotions, new emotions, emotions being stirred up, getting you going. You know, it's those things that you feel about this person. And it bothers me because looking at the Nine of Swords and the Seven of Swords, I think there's a part of you that knows, you know, about what kind of person they are, the things that they may have done, and the things that they are still capable of doing, especially if they're not being clear with you about what their intentions are. Because the Nine of Swords is you going through all of that shit in your mind, going back from 1 to 8. Now we're at the 9, and you're going through all of it, and it's all about the bad thoughts. All the fears, the anxieties, all of it playing out in your mind. But there, I think, is still a part of you that wants to give. But when do you turn into the Empress in reverse? Or is that where you're leading to? Being unhappy, feeling like you've been taken advantage of. That your caring, compassion, and kindness has been for nothing. Damn, man. You know, and again, right? It is a general message. And I get it. I get the feeling. I get the passion. I get getting caught up in that because the emotions are coming back. They're being restored with that Page of Cups. And with the Knight of Wands, you're going with it. And it would make sense, given that we're looking at the King of Wands, whether we're talking about male or female. He has the ability to get that passion going. But that Seven of Swords, no, Cap, no. You deserve better than that. So I look at that and what I'm feeling off of this is, first of all, it's not about allowing bad things to happen, but it's needing to just kind of like allow yourself to be in the flow of what is happening here. So this may be one of those situations that you need to just kind of like allow to have happen here in order for you to understand the mystery behind why this situation is happening. Because it's ultimately going to lead to a place where you finally get to have tranquility and be happy and be the empress without having to deal with somebody else fucking that up. You know? So I kind of look at this as this is something that is meant to happen for a reason. You know, you'll understand why. Like, I almost feel like this is leading up to something better for you and you being in a better place. Especially the fact that you come in with the Queen of Wands, you end with the Empress. Even though you may have some shyster, you know, in your space, this may lead you to a place where you finally understand why all of this unfolds the way it does, you know? And you get to go to this place of being happy, being tranquil, right? Gates of Triumph. I've seen that one before. And then Journey by Moonlight. Believe in magic. Yes. Yes. There's something better. Once you get past this, you're going to be at the gates, and that's where the success will expand in your life. But you have to believe. You have to believe that, you know, there is magic to be had apart from this situation once it's over with. You know, I almost look at that as the world there, the gates of triumph. You're right there at the gates. You know, you get to have like this successful end to all of this. But it's going to open you up to, you know, believing in better things. You know, Journey by Moonlight, right? One of my favorites. But, you know, like I said, it is a general message, but to me, this is going to be very specific for those of you who are dealing with a person that knows how to pull you in. They know how to get you going. They know how to stir the emotions within you. And, you know, it's now about breaking this cycle, I think. Where you're no longer, you know, willing to give to somebody who can't do something for themselves. It's not your responsibility anymore.